Zul'Gurub will look like Desolus by the end of this video, because we're about to solo herb 27 nodes in ZG. Hey there, thanks for watching. I'm Daintree Rogue, bringing you gaming hints, tips, and hacks fresh from the jungle. Today, we're going to show you how to efficiently farm Bloodvine in ZG as a rogue or druid. All up, we show 27 nodes in under 10 minutes, which is less than 22 seconds per node. We've packed so much info into this video, and we've tried to keep it as short as possible, so get ready for some punch. We've got a traffic light system running. Green is for easy and reliable. Yellow means the node is less reliable. It might need cooldowns, or it depends on the type of mobs around the node. Red is, well, it's doable, if you like dying sometimes. We've also got icons in the bottom right showing whether a node is rogue or druid friendly. Next to this, keep an eye out for the spells or abilities that you might need to use on that node. Below that is the strategy for heading into a node and the strategy for getting out. As a rogue, you'll need improved sap and improved gouge if you want to do the crowd control nodes. As a druid, you'll be fine as is, although we do recommend using nightscape boots with movement speed for both classes. So what path should we take? Well, considering we're trying to be efficient, we should focus on herbing as many of the green nodes first. There are some pretty easy nodes around the start which you will have just seen. Check for these 4 nodes, then cross to the middle island and over to the north side of the map. If you aren't yet familiar with how to get around ZG, and we do like to do it on our mounts, check out our ZG mining video, which includes all the tricks you need to safely and speedily get from A to B. Once on the north side of the map, we're going to herb around the Temple of Pethick and use its safe spot. Then move on to the Tiger Boss and eventually finish up above Venoxus. Node 7 is pretty hardcore. You have to wait for 6 patrols to line up to be able to safely do it, and even then, safely is a bit of a stretch. To make this guide as efficient as possible, we focus on herbing from our safe spots, which you might have already seen in our other ZG videos. Using the safe spots means that we normally end up out of combat after we herb, leaving us to run away or re-stealth rather than blowing a cooldown. This way, we aren't waiting around all day for our abilities to reset. Using safe spots also means that we can run around mounted. It's pretty easy to do without aggro once you learn the pats. But for those cases when you do aggro, simply divert to the nearest safe spot, reset the mobs, and get on your way again. It's a lot faster than moving around in stealth, especially if you don't have increased stealth speed. Overall, I think it's best to steer clear of the harder nodes, because you'll have a difficult time getting all the easy nodes in under 12 minutes, which is the minimum time you can reset an instance per hour without getting locked out. Bloodvine appears to have an equal chance to drop off any of the herbs in ZG, so while you can get more money for, say, Mountain Silver Sage compared to Golden Sandstorm, those nodes are usually the hardest to get, and really, we're here for the Bloodvine anyway. Targeting just the easy nodes should bag you around 5 nodes per instance, and usually a few more. If you can manage that, and it might need a bit of practice first, that's 25 nodes per hour. That's going to mean a lot of Bloodvine. Most of the nodes around the Temple of Pethick are green nodes, and you can get them without using any cooldowns. In fact, you can get most of them as any class, but we'll do that in another video. There are 3 major safe spots that we use as bases of operations for this farm, and the Pethick Temple here provides access to the largest number of nodes, so you'll usually want to spend at least a third of your time here, assuming you have enough spawns. As I mentioned earlier, it's sometimes tough to get all of the green nodes in under 12 minutes, and sometimes we like to cruise along at a nice comfortable pace, so don't worry too much about timing. As long as you focus on the easy ones, you'll be farming efficiently enough. Of course, if you do like to get particular, it usually takes about 2.5 minutes to get to this side of the map, assuming you get one of the first 4 nodes. Ideally, I'd be moving on from here at around 6 or 7 minutes elapsed. Sometimes, using the walls to pull mobs can be less risky than pulling them directly to the temple. Mobs can get up onto each of the side walls, which is great for pathing, but they can't get to the south walls. Use this to your advantage whenever you can. Node 13. This one's easier than it looks, especially if you take the time to learn the pats first. You can actually dodge most of them without too much trouble. Pro tip though, don't aggro the Berserker. They're crazy fast when they're mad. I should have finished this node in time and out of combat, but because of the Berserker, everything resets sooner than expected. Luckily, I knew my closest safe spot. 27 nodes. Who knew you could get RSI from herbing? If you're loving this Bloodvine action, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are already halfway through our nodes and going strong. This next node, number 14, is pretty tricky though. It needs to have the right kind of mobs. The ranged trolls can dish damage and sometimes they even hex you. And there is a long and hairy run on foot to the next safe spot, which we've called Pagel's Head. If you do decide to go for this node, which we don't recommend, Rogues should probably just vanish, while Druids should pop dash or at least travel form. The goal here is to jump on top of the head, not the first pillar. You can make the jump with sprint, dash, and travel form. The top of the big jug on the far side is a good backup, but apparently not for me today. Right now, we're showing you how to get this sungrass node by doing a mounted kite pull. This strategy is actually quite difficult, so for this node and the next, we instead recommend that you use the crowd control abilities shown next to your class icon. You could actually do node 15 here as any class if you let combat drop while you're on the wall, but it's still quite tricky to make the jump up onto the wall in the first place, especially while mounted. To add to this, at the end you'll probably need to make the jump to Pagel's head. To do this reliably, rogues will need to wait for at least one snake to be close to the node. Blind the further away snake, then gouge the close snake. You need to herb as soon as you land gouge. For once, druids have it easier than rogues, and you can simply hibernate an entangling roots. Make sure you hibernate the blue snakes as they are ranged. If both mobs are ranged, it's bad luck. After herbing, aim to get on the angled pillar. If you are more patient than me, you will wait a few extra moments to let the pack go past. If they weren't there, we could drop combat here. If you get stuck, make the dash to Pagel's head. One piece of advice though, practice this jump beforehand. Node 17 is one for the adventurous. It's not that complicated, but it does rely on exactly where the axe throwers are when they do their axe flurry, the spinning ability. If they do it early, they won't follow you around the wall. They'll path the wrong way and you'll meet them head to head out the back. Or sometimes they'll reset too soon and interrupt your herbing. All up, it's probably not worth the effort going for this dream foil in a solo farm. Onto my favourite safe spot herbing area, Tiger Ledge. 3 nodes can spawn here and you can get all 3 nodes in a single instance. Jackpot. The only trick is engaging the hyperactive cub marked as square. Otherwise, it's exactly the same strategy for all 3 nodes. To speed things up a little, feel free to use a cooldown here. You could grab 2 nodes in a single pull and vanish afterwards, or use sprint or dash to get back to the corner and safety. Another pro tip here is to not let the tigers get too close to you when you are on the wall. If they are out of range, they'll drop aggro before running back, which allows you to re-stealth after collecting. This saves the unmounted running around that we're doing now. There are 3 main strategies to getting in and out of nodes in this guide. The first is to use line of sight to get nodes, whether it be a pillar or a hut. The second is to ranged pull or kite on your mount, and either be out of combat or on a safe spot at the end. The last strategy type is to use crowd control or cooldowns. As you might have noticed, we've really tried to focus on the first and second strategies using line of sight and kiting to safe spots. Basically, we hate waiting around for cooldowns. We marked node 23 as a yellow light. In reality, it shouldn't be too hard as it is a standard ranged pull into safe spot strategy. However, I find that the mobs do reset quickly and sometimes you just can't get back into stealth, which increases the risk factor. It also helps if you know how to jump. These next few nodes are fun. Sometimes even line of sight is overrated. Let's just herb on a block instead. There is some RNG to the mobs, and ranged ones will probably give you trouble. Rogues can always sap them if needed. Herb and get to Venox's Ledge safe spot. I tried resisting the urge to heal here, I'm not really sure why. Node 25 is my favourite mounted kite. Take a running jump into the snake pit and go for some sightseeing. The plan is to drag the mobs the long way around to the ledge that we were just on, full 360. It's definitely a challenge to dodge all the mobs, but after all the easy mode herbing, we had to give you something interesting to do. Run for a bit, then stop in line of sight. Keep this up until you reach the Venox's Ledge. Wait for combat to drop, then herb. I haven't managed to do this as a druid, but I reckon you could re-stealth if you went left rather than right at the end here. This next node might be the best one of them all. Make sure the berserkers and snake pats are clear, then do a ranged pull. Turn around and run back up to the spider ledge. For the best results, you'll want to pop sprint or dash, go along the ledge, jump down and aim to get on the little block next to the herb. I told you herbing on blocks is fun. In the end, don't forget that easy nodes are better than nodes that need cooldowns, even if the herb is a better quality. Our main focus is Bloodvine. Always remember your safe spots, and not just where you start, but where you'll end up, especially if things go pear-shaped. And wait for pats. Again, green nodes are good nodes. Remember your safe spots, and be patient. Now you know how to solo herb up to 27 nodes in ZG. Crazy. If you can find any new green or yellow nodes, give us a shout in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This is Daintree Rogue, gone rogue. See you next week.